Am I audible? As the net is weak, I have stopped the desktop. I have gone to handset. Am I audible? Friends, am I audible? Am I audible? Comment will appear here. Am I audible? Handset is from the handset transmission going on. I am compelled to start in a handset. I'll be very short time I will be in this Facebook. I do not know whether the handset will be able to continue. Today's subject is number one, the situation inside India and around, and then I will concentrate on the POK. As the net is weak and my desktop is not working, I'll be very short time in the handset. Number one, the Governor of West Bengal has submitted his governor's report about West Bengal and Murshidabad. There is shouting too much on the media by the Shikumaku Kongus. Let it be there. One thing we must be very clear that few crores, more than 4 crores of Muslims and Rohingyas from Bangladesh and Arakan area has entered into border of India, Assam and Bengal, West Bengal, and from here they have got their identity cards. During the slow connection, yes, maybe slow connection. Will I switch over to different one? Shankar, can you listen to me? Watching. Can you hear me? Shankar, bring the camera. Can you listen to me? I am sorry, I am with the handset. One thing, they have during CPM rule for 34 years, these infiltrators has got identity cards in form of birth certificates and ration cards. And all those certificates are given by the government of West Bengal machinery officers. Then during TMCP, they have got ration cards, birth certificates, plus PAN card, Aadhaar card, everything. They have spread all over the country. They are the real threat to this Bharatvarsha. And a percentage of these infiltrators are terrorists. Let this Shikumaku Kongus out. Then I will come to, before coming to the POK, specifically, I want to concentrate on the strategy of this government of India about what is happening on our eastern side and western side, in Burma and Bangladesh area, and their PAK Afghan area. It's a very good strategy. And this strategy is one way, is a guerrilla warfare strategy. Without declaring a full-scale war, neither against Pakistan and East Pakistan. It's a very good strategy. Particularly a declaration of a open war on West Pakistan is risky today, particularly when this Pakistan is nuclear. This was easy long before when Pakistan was not nuclear. Many opportunities past governments refused to accept, refused to utilize the opportunities of breaking Pakistan and weakening Pakistan, even recapturing POK. I'll discuss while POK. And today's government of India is a very good strategy, because if it is open war, there is a risk of the PAK terrorists using atom bombs on our head. And remember, in Pakistan, there is no, in one sense, no government. Some terrorists are running, some non-state actors. And these non-state actors is now handling the nuclear heads. And their government as army. And they are not answerable to any world body. If they use atom bombs on our heads, who will be caught? Better let this East Pakistan and West Pakistan be broken from inside. And our guerrilla warfare technique will encourage these rebel forces both in Pakistan, East and West. Let them break from inside. Dr. Shankar, remember one thing. When we use, how we use dynamites. Suppose we want create a huge road on the hills area. We use dynamites. How we use the dynamites? Not by throwing dynamites on the wall of the hills. That will destroy the hills, break the hills to a small extent. Better make a big hole inside the body of the mountain and blast the mountain from inside. The extension of the breaking of these mountain hills will be better. And similarly, this guerrilla technique warfare, our diplomacy, guerrilla diplomacy and guerrilla warfare in East and West will be sure to break these Pakistan and Bangladesh. That we want. That we want. And no one else will be able to humiliate us, rebuke us. That is a good technique. And remember one thing, Shankar, Netaji's INA was not a open warfare army. It was mainly a guerrilla warfare army. And these all wars mainly guerrilla warfare. And Netaji, I tell you, after Shivaji of the Indian history, is the greatest guerrilla warfare general. And his techniques is of a guerrilla warfare brain. And today, our diplomacy in that pathway. Let me proceed to, again, POK. I'll be very short time because on handset. Yes, GHQ, Rawalpindi, DG, ISI and Corps Commander running away. Okay, let them run away. Run Pakistan. Yes, run Pakistan. Okay. POK. How it was created. How the Kashmir problem erupted. My questions will be how it was erupted. What was the identity of the invaders of Srinagar in the month of I think October, in the month of October. First our government noticed on 20th October 1947 the invasion of the Kashmir. They came near the Kashmir, Srinagar, from northwest. What is the identity of the invaders of Srinagar from northwest? There is many stories. We'll discuss that area. Then what was the role of Mountbatten, Nehru, Patel, Jinnah, Liaquat, Edwina in this Kashmir invasion? What was the role? I'll be very specific here in short. And then how POK was created. And why even in 71, when Indira Gandhi got a brilliant opportunity to bargain for POK, why she refused to do that? I will focus on these areas. First, yes, 1947, 20th October, Government of India first noticed the invasion of these by these persons, armed person from the northwest. What is the identity? Are they regular PAK army or the tribes? Who guided them? Who inspired them? Who instigated them? Initially, Shaumo, you will see, initially, when government of India is asking the government of Pakistan how this army has entered into the territory of in Jammu Kashmir. That time, Liaquat Ali is telling on phone to government of India that they know nothing. They are not responsible for this invasion. They are the tribes of the northwest. They are independent. If we prevent them, they will create havoc. They will kill our soldiers. Our existence will be in crisis. We are afraid to prevent them. This was the answer initially. And some scholars think that Jinnah and Liaquat instigated from behind these tribesmen from northwest province area. This was the drama. But did really Liaquat and Jinnah instigated them from behind? Because directly they were not in a position to attack India, Jammu Kashmir. Because at that time, though army was divided, but arms go down, materials were yet to be divided. Not much arms were in the hands of the Pakistan army. They did not take the risk. But Shankar, you will see subsequently on the discussion table, they are confessing that if government of India come to compromise with the Jinnah government, they may stop, they will threat these tribes to stop this aggression. But before that, government of India must come to compromise with the government of Pakistan. What does it mean? If Jinnah is in a position to threat these invaders, that means he is in a position to threat. That means, to some extent, he had some role from behind. Now come. And these arms, what is the source of these arms? Are they made by the British from which this India government and Pakistan government got the arms? Is it that source? No. The weapons with which these invaders came, few hundred invaders with 200 loaded trucks, these were not made by the British India. Those were Russian arms. That I have got information from the National Archives source. Because during Second Great War, in this Afghanistan area, strategically, Communist USSR kept many arms and trained many tribes for use. Those were left. Those army trucks and weapons were used. That's why many one think Russian role. I do not know. And at that time, when these tribesmen from northwest was enforced by some ex-INA persons like Burhanuddin, Habibur Rahman, all these persons who was of origin from these princely states of this area and high officers in Pakistan, in Netaji's INA. Many ones see the shadow of the ghost there. That's why I have told you yesterday, in British intelligence files, CSDIC files, at this time, there we see the mention of this ghost in this area. That's why the government of India, through Director General of Archives of India, wrote me that you will be allowed to look to files declassified on Netaji and INA, but you will not be allowed to look to the files relating Chitral, Gilgit and Kashmir. What does it mean? Means Netaji somehow is involved in this area. Okay, I have discussed to some extent yesterday. Now, come to what is the role of this when these tribesmen came near the Srinagar. They came in the way of, and they are Pathans and Afridis. They are Pathans and Afridis and some people of Rawalpindi area. And 300 civilian trucks loaded with arms. They came on Kohala Srinagar road, about 35 kilometers away from Srinagar. That time, Government of India got the news. And on that day, Nehru was hosting the Prime Minister of Thailand in Delhi. And in this dinner meet, Mountbatten was present. And Nehru took Mountbatten on the side of the dining hall and conveyed this report. I am sure Mountbatten knew from before. He was silently sitting on this news. Nehru got alarmed. Then, what is the role of this Mountbatten, Nehru, Patel, Jinnah Liaquat, all these things? Then from Delhi, phone went to Lahore. At that time, it was their capital. There was some telephone calls ups and downs, some angry talks behind. Nehru was blaming Liaquat, Jinnah, and Liaquat, Jinnah was blaming Nehru, all these things. And there they confessed that they have not instigated these tribesmen. They know nothing. But they knew these tribesmen has gone on the way to Srinagar. Then the question came, why would they did not inform us? And the reverse question was from Liaquat that why not you rang us when those invading force entered the periphery of Srinagar? You come to dialogue. Only dialogue can solve that. For this dialogue, Mountbatten was very much interested. And now I will read some areas from the book. The Great Divide, Britain, India, Pakistan, H. B. Hodgson. He is that very important man, who was in the chair which was subsequently occupied by this Menon, VP Menon. Very important person. Yes, tribal Laskars led by PAK junior officers and senior INA commanders. And I will start from this is a huge volume of 600 pages. I will start from 444. You see what? Few lines I will read. Then I will stop very quickly. 4. Yes. The huge volume. And after getting 444 and yes. One thing, I am now, all are becoming active, but everyone has their own interests. And it is clearly written that when there are princely states, they are given option to join either Pakistan or India. Majority joined on India side, some joined Pakistan side. Few princely states were waiting, killing time, like Kashmir, Junagadh, Hyderabad, all these things. Kashmir, where majority is Muslim, but the king is Hindu, was interested to remain independent. He was killing time. And by this time, had been invaded by the tribal force from the northwest. And the king became afraid. He wanted military support from Delhi. And that time he was not interested to join by signing the accession treaty, instrument of accession document. Patel was of the opinion that even though Kashmir has not, king has not signed that instrument of accession, we can very easily send arms. As they are my friends, we can send arms to a friendly, even if he is an independent one, friendly country. But Nehru declined. Nehru told that because Patel was interested to include Kashmir inside India. Clear? But Nehru was hesitant. Nehru was not at all interested to take Kashmir inside India. Like Mountbatten. Mountbatten also was not interested to take Kashmir inside India. Even Mountbatten gave word to Kashmir that if they do not join India, he will not mind anything. This was the word given by Nehru to Raja Maharaja. Why? Because he wanted this Kashmir to be ruled by Abdullah. Abdullah, his bosom friend, in other words, his biological brother. He wanted a free Kashmir for Abdullah. Abdullah, the political leader, popular political leader of the biggest political party, National Conference there, automatically he'll be the prime minister of this country, of this Kashmir. This interest was there. Nehru was not at all inclined to take Kashmir inside India, but Patel was interested. What is the role of Mountbatten? Mountbatten, I have told you, Mountbatten wanted to keep Kashmir separate. Even he liked Pakistan to Kashmir to join Pakistan, but king was not at all interested. Even Abdullah was not interested to join Pakistan. Shankar, Abdullah was not interested because Abdullah had a strong dislike both for Jinnah and Liaquat, because both Liaquat and Jinnah ethnically different. And if Kashmir joins Pakistan, Abdullah will lose the right to rule Kashmir. That was the fear. Clear? King was not inclined. King did not take the idea of joining Pakistan, though majority of people is Muslims. Also Abdullah not interested. Clear? The time was passing. Then when the tribesmen, armed tribesmen encroaching Kashmir, they got afraid. Then at that time, many important officers visited Kashmir and talked to Abdullah, also the king. And Abdullah was under pressure to sign the accession, instrument of accession. And by this time, our army by plane has dropped into Kashmir Valley. And here is some talks that it is Patel who ordered, not Nehru, Patel. Yes, Patel ordered. Nehru was not interested to send that army. But was Patel supreme at that time, Shankar? No. On sending this Indian army or any army to Kashmir Valley, Mountbatten has got an interest. What was that interest? And because Mountbatten and British officers in Delhi was anxious because there are 100 European families was residing in Kashmir Valley, Srinagar. And more than 100 European families were residing in Srinagar. That was the big headache for Mountbatten and the high British officers in Delhi. That compelled Mountbatten to send army. And some British officers wanted to send the British army itself. Shankar, British army itself, not British Indian army. To save these European families, they wanted to send British army itself. But Mountbatten prevented. If British army goes there, Jinnah will be angry. Liaquat will be angry. That's why Jinnah went to the opinion of sending Indian army. That's why the Sikh regiment and others went to the sent by planes. Here is the, and you see, and our army went there, and the advancement of the tribes forces was prevented, halted. That saved the lives of these European families in valley, in Srinagar. Then Mountbatten think in the opposite direction, because his purpose has been served. Now he want to create some situation in Kashmir which will benefit their British imperial interest in future. Also create a situation in this subcontinent, a conflict between Pakistan and India, which will help British in the future. Now, under the instruction of Mountbatten, and the order went through Edwina Mountbatten to Nehru to stop advancement of Indian army in the Kashmir Valley. When the lower part was conquered by our Indian army, our army was ordered to stop. And that order went through the lips of Edwina Mountbatten. This is clearly written in the diaries of the daughter of Edwina and Mountbatten himself. Because Mountbatten knew that the words of Edwina will never be neglected by Nehru. We obeyed letter by letter by Nehru. The words of Edwina will be obeyed by Nehru letter by letter. Mountbatten was confident. That is the writings from the diary of the daughter of Mountbatten, who was there at the time, and the Nehru memorial speech by Mountbatten himself. And also a notorious advice to send the Kashmir problem to UNO. Then I have cleared the purpose of Mountbatten, Nehru, Patel, and this time Sir Girija Shankar Bajpayee and VP Menon was strongly against stopping the war and also placing this issue on the UNO. And army generals from the Indian side was requested Nehru to delay this stop for 7 days. And by that 7 days, they were sure to conquer rest of the Kashmir. But Nehru betrayed the nation. He went to Kashmir. He disobeyed even the appeals of Girija Shankar Bajpayee and VP Menon. This is from many records. Also, I have quoted from the diary of the disciples of Mohakal, which is stated by Mohakal himself. Nehru cheated the nation, betrayed the nation. Betrayed the nation. And this way, a part of the northwestern part of Kashmir remained in the hands of these invading forces. That is the POK. By that way, I regularly tell that POK is the creation of Edwina and Nehru. POK is the creation of Edwina and Nehru. And by creating POK, a situation is created by which a continuous war on this field is continuing for last 8 decades. And we are losing thousands of crores of rupees here. Also, a situation is being created, a Hindu-Muslim enmity. Because British knew, Nehru knew, that if only we stop here only by partition of India, one day Muslims may forget anti-Hindu feelings, and Hindus may forget the genocides, their Hindu genocides, and forget that they are once killed by the Muslims. They will forget. One day they may reunite. To prevent that chances of reunion of these two fragments, Pakistan and India, they created POK, divided Kashmir. A situation of continuous wars was created by Mountbatten, Edwina and Nehru. And we are suffering from there. Suffering from there. And I will quote some area from this volume, and one not very significant area. Then I will come to the question, why Indira did not enjoy the opportunity of bargaining for POK in 1971-72 in Simla Agreement. Such a brilliant opportunity. Brilliant opportunity. Childhood days in school student, K2 is India's highest peak. Okay, one area, and one day from this book I am reading, Mountbatten threatened Liaquat on phone. You come, and also threatened Nehru to sit, Liaquat and Nehru to sit in a gold table conference, round table conference, so to settle the problem. And Nehru was interested to go to Pakistan to discuss with the Jinnah and Liaquat. But Patel was against that. Patel told that we are in a better position. Why we will surrender to Pakistan? Why our Prime Minister will go to Pakistan? If they are interested, they let them come. And luckily by this time, Nehru got fever. Did not go to Pakistan. Then Mountbatten was compelled to ring Liaquat. Liaquat on receiving phone came to Delhi. And the moment Liaquat came to Delhi, Liaquat was rebuked by Mountbatten. Why you are delaying to discuss in between and settling the problem? This is a very, very serious problem. What he told, that area I reading. In fact, Kashmir emergency. And will be astonished see that in such an emergency of Kashmir crisis, do you know, all the discussions about Kashmir, where it was discussed? It was not discussed in the cabinet. It was discussed in the defense committee. And do you know who was heading the defense committee? Usually in any country, the defense committee is headed by the Prime Minister of the country. Unfortunately, the defense committee this time was headed and chaired by Mountbatten, who is officially just an honorary head of the country. He has no right to discuss this issue, no right to be head or chair such defense committee meetings. Unfortunately, this is written in the book, in these defense committee meetings, where the decisions about Kashmir was being taken, it was Mountbatten who was heading the chair and took responsibility of taking all the decisions. And peculiar, and he was enjoying that power, but he is not answerable to the people of this country. He was enjoying that power, but not without being answerable to the people of this country. And whatever this Mountbatten has done at that time is is the interest of this UK and British Empire against the interest of India. He took decisions when to stop this army advancement, when to go to UNO, all these things. And at that time Nehru told, I do not know army, how to use army, how to manage a crisis. I know nothing. Mountbatten knows it. Let Mountbatten chair the defense committee meetings. And Mountbatten was the head of the defense committee meetings and chairing all the sessions. And in cabinet, nothing was discussed. And all those decisions, ugly decisions, notorious anti-national decisions, we are now bearing. That's the tragedy. Nehru told, he do not know, I do not know how to use army. Army affairs I do not know. Crisis I do not know how to manage. Mountbatten knows. Let him. And it is Nehru who requested Mountbatten to chair all these defense committee meetings. This is the ugly chapter of our of our history. In this way, and one notorious area, very important area, I will read line by line. Why this in this invasion of these tribal forces, why Liaquat was afraid, why Kashmir was afraid, and why Nehru was afraid. I will read that area. After reaching Liaquat, there was a meeting between Liaquat and Nehru. From this, yes, I'm reading. The fact that the Kashmir emergency was considered in Delhi not by Indian cabinet but by defense committee also proved historically vital. At this body, by request of Pandit Nehru and other ministers, the Governor General presided, thus acting as some sense as Prime Minister in matters of defense, though the cabinet took responsibility and the Governor General was constitutionally bound to accept their advice. He had been invited by the politicians to head the defense committee because they had realized they knew nothing about the armed forces, military administration, and problems of national defense. Thus it happened that all the key decisions of the government of India about Kashmir at the end of October 1947 were taken under the leadership of Governor General, for they were the decisions in terms of defense against the tribal invasion. This was to have momentous consequences, for which Lord Mountbatten could consequently be identified with the policies adopted by India in Kashmir. At that time, he had neither responsibility nor means for carrying them to fulfillment in the future. How notorious, how ugly the history is. And one area I will read, yes, I'll definitely read. That is once, yes, that area. Lord Mountbatten, Pandit Nehru, Maharaj of Kashmir, dog, cat, yes. Liaquat came to Delhi. Now I am reading. You want I to understand. Where is the ghost? The fear of the ghost, threatening everyone. Abdullah, Liaquat, Jinnah, and here Mountbatten and Nehru, threatening everyone. You see, Lord Mountbatten saw Mr. Liaquat Ali Khan alone and told him he had been criminally foolish, thus once again to jeopardize the chance of any negotiations. Having rebuked one party, he was able to placate the other and joined up persuading Pandit Nehru to meet Mr. Liaquat Ali Khan at 4 o'clock that afternoon. Pandit Nehru held forth for about 3/4 of an hour and gave a full account of the events in Kashmir as he saw them. He said categorically that if the dominion of India had not gone to the assistance of Kashmir when called upon, not only by the ruler but by also Sheikh Abdullah, the leader of the biggest popular party, he had no doubt whatever had the present government of India would have been overthrown. The government of India, present government of this India would have been overthrown by this force, and that it would have been replaced by an irresponsible and extremist government which in his opinion would probably have declared war upon Pakistan. Shankar, just listen to words. This is such a notorious force. This will first occupy Srinagar. Then this will turn towards Delhi to occupy it. There they will establish an extremist force which will turn towards Pakistan to conquer Pakistan. Shankar, can you believe these sentences? What is behind that? This force will first conquer Srinagar. Then they will turn towards Delhi. And they will establish extremist government. And that force will turn towards Pakistan to conquer it. Shankar, see the words in page number 461 in this volume by H.D. Hodgson. I will not trouble you. And last question, why Indira? Indira has got that opportunity to bargain for POK. He disinclined. Because I have told you, she was never interested for liberation of Bangladesh. He never wanted completely free Bangladesh. Ekdom free from Pakistan. This was beyond its, beyond her prescription. And also, Mujib did not want. I have discussed many times in details. Whatever, the free Bangladesh was against the wishes of Indira Gandhi, against the wishes of Mujibur Rahman. That's why subsequently you see their behaviors. Indira in Simla agreement, I have told you repeatedly, he negated, destroyed, she negated and destroyed all our achievements, military achievements and diplomatic achievements in Bangladesh Liberation War by making this Simla agreement. And he helped Bhutto to survive. He helped Pakistan to survive. Had she bargained for POK, then a separation of POK from Pakistan means another fragmentation of Pakistan. And Pakistan was given birth to not only by British, also by Gandhi and Nehru. One of the founding fathers of Pakistan is Nehru, Jinnah. Jinnah, Liaquat, British, and Gandhi Nehru. They are the founding fathers. Also founding parents of POK is Edwina and Nehru. Separation of POK, occupation of POK by India is another fragmentation of Pakistan. That time making Pakistan more non-viable. That Indira prevented. Because he is a Pakistani by heart. She is a Muslim by heart. She can never dream of the dissolution and death of Pakistan. She can never dream of. Let me stop here. Yes, Sila Ghatak. It is that extremist force which is now active. Yes, Shankar. The ghost somewhere is active. Yes, that force will conquer first Srinagar, then turn towards Delhi, establish the extremist government there, which will turn towards Pakistan to occupy that, means again the reunification of the country. That Mountbatten never wanted, Nehru never wanted, Indira never wanted. I do not know today, I am in this handset, how much I have been able to convey. Mountbatten, who was not even answerable, yes, he was not answerable to any plans planned in this defense committee meeting. He is not answerable. But he was the key man. He was the principal architect of all decisions taken in this defense committee meeting, which we the India is bearing. Parthasarathi. And Nehru was crying, I do not know how to use arms, how to use army and defense administrations. I know nothing about defense administration. This scoundrel, why you become the prime minister? Anything else? Parthasarathi, Shangupta, Shankar. Let me stop here. I'm not in my small handset. I am not being able to see your comments. Sorry, I will stop it. If some questions are there, I will try to answer that. Possibly in short, I have given you some details. Let me stop here. Let me finish. Thank you. Any other questions left? Yes. Patel, I have discussed about Patel, Jain, Mountbatten, Cabinet Defense Committee meetings, and Maharaja, Abdullah, and Sir Girija Shankar Bajpayee, also VP Menon. I have in short, I have given some sketches to you. Now you have to read to the volumes. And one thing I tell you, some Bengalis here in this West Bengal are giving so many opinions about and to this government of India, strike Pakistan, destroy Pakistan, all these things. So much language, so much advices. My request to these Bengali friends, for 34 years, what you have done about the anti-national activities of CPM in Bengal, and what you have done about this anti-national activities of the TMCP in Bengal. To what extent? And what right, moral right you have to advise government of India, who have entrusted their army to do their job, free hand to the army. এবার খণ্ড yes, Netaji Mahakal is the greatest guerrilla warfare general, greatest guerrilla warfare general, greatest guerrilla warfare tactician. Let me stop here.